This is BBC News. I'm Jane Hill. The headlines at 2. Boris Johnson announces sanctions on Russian banks and wealthy individuals after President Putin orders troops into eastern Ukraine.
The House should be in no doubt that the deployment of these forces in sovereign Ukrainian territory amounts to a renewed invasion of that country.
In Germany, the government there halts the process to approve a new pipeline from Russia, which could double Europe's gas supply. Ukrainians were told by their president to remain calm. He said his country isn't afraid of anything or anyone. In other news, questions about who will be eligible for free COVID testing after the government announced the end of universal testing in England from April. COVID plans for Scotland are due to be announced in the next half an hour. We'll bring you Nicola Sturgeon's speech from Holyrood a little bit later. Buckingham Palace says the Queen has cancelled planned virtual engagements as she continues to suffer mild cold-like symptoms because of COVID-19. 3 convicted terrorists, including one of the men behind the Manchester Arena bombing, have been found guilty of a vicious attack on a prison officer. And Storm Franklin leaves disruption in its wake, with floods along the River Severn and people moved out of their homes. Hello, good afternoon. Welcome to BBC News. The Prime Minister has been setting out details to MPs of sanctions against Russia after President Putin ordered his troops into 2 breakaway regions of eastern Ukraine, following weeks of high-level international diplomacy aimed at defusing the crisis. Boris Johnson, who held an emergency Cobra meeting this morning, said Russia had violated Ukrainian sovereignty and broken international law. And he laid out what he described as a barrage of sanctions against Russian banks and wealthy individuals, telling MPs to prepare for a protracted crisis. Well, Russian troops have been ordered into 2 areas of eastern Ukraine, together known as the Donbass region. Donetsk and Luhansk are self-declared republics. They are held by separatists backed by Moscow. The news of Russia's actions has prompted international outrage, with a promise of sanctions from the EU and Germany halting approval of a key pipeline which is designed to export gas from Russia. Our first report is from our diplomatic correspondent, James Landale.